I got leftovers from the room fridge for breakfast, but still got a late start. I guess I was enjoying the civilized amenities too much. I got on the trail that ran adjacent to Leech Lake to rejoin the PCT a little ways down the road. I gained a little elevation in the morning, but then cruised along below 6,000 feet the rest of the day. I was constantly near water. Kind of late in the day, I got a good look at Mount Rainier. I don't think I ever saw it without clouds blocking the top. Camped at Anderson Lake Junction. That must be Anderson Lake in the background. Stagecoach from Crater Lake section came by my tent to say hi. Because of the late start, I only got 23.5 miles. Day 2 was another relatively flat day. Mostly I cruised around 5,000 feet, peaking at about 6 1/3. Pretty close to Snoqualmie Pass, I ran into Uncle Jim. He stopped all the thru hikers to give them treats from his backpack, and he liked to tell stories. One of the things he said was he was a thru hiker because he was through with hiking. Snoqualmie Pass was a popular place to hand out trail magic, but unfortunately no one was set up in the parking lot on this day, although the pass did have an outhouse. A maintenance crew happened to be there, and they were nice enough to take my trash that I had accumulated on the first couple of days. Some people got picked up here for a ride to the nearby Crystal Mountain Resort for a little trail stop. In the afternoon, I got another good view of the cloud-covered Mount Rainier. Around 6, I had done 23 miles, and I came to a campsite with water source. The next water stop was at Mike Ulrich Cabin 5 miles away. The cabin is maintained by a local snowmobile group, but anyone can stay there. I wanted to check it out, but I figured it would be too crowded to spend the night at. I cooked dinner while I decided what to do. While I was cooking, Stagecoach and his crew rolled in. His crew is just a couple of other guys around our age. There was only 3 spots for tents, so I got my dinner to go. Instead of staying at the cabin, I pitched my tent at a trail crossing a half-mile short. Dry camping wasn't a big deal since I already ate dinner and would fix breakfast at the cabin. The cabin was controversial because it was the source of a norovirus outbreak the year before. Far Out had lots of comments about people getting sick. I figured I'd be safe if I boiled my water and used hand sanitizer after using the privy. I had a lovely breakfast in the cabin and had a good look around. Stagecoach and his crew wandered through while I was there. Weather turned bad right after breakfast. Fog starting at this overlook condensed on the trees and effectively rained down on me. Later it would turn into full-blown rain. Around noon I ran into a group having lunch in a tent at an overlook. Out of the tent popped Magic Hobbit. We hiked together for most of the rest of the day. It was great catching up. As the rain got heavier and heavier, we agreed on a stopping spot and I sped up. I really wanted to get out of the wet. The last mile of this 26.5-mile day was downright torrential and interrupted periodically by lightning. Fortunately, there was a little light left when I set up camp. This day was notable. If you don't count my zeros off the trail, this day was my 100th. Magic Hobbit arrived after dark. All the tent sites were taken already. He set up a little ways away, so I didn't get a chance to see him. Magic Hobbit slept in the next day, so I packed up on my own. It was miserable, although I practiced a pro move by packing everything up in my tent while still inside. I also put my rain gear on inside. My tent goes on the outside of the pack, so the rest of the gear stays dry. This day was a town day. Just 20 miles to Snoqualmie Pass, where I had reservations at the Summit Inn. It was hard to keep my momentum up, though. The rain and the mud was slowing me down, and then there was, let's call them, bathroom problems. Only later did I discover the hand sanitizer doesn't kill the norovirus. I knew the virus goes right through filters, so I was careful at the cabin. So I either picked it up at the cabin through physical contact or at a different water source. I got to the top of the ski slopes across the road from the inn around 3:30. It was fun walking on the slopes right into town. It seemed quite triumphant. I checked in around 4 and did most of my town chores before dinner. There was a couple of resupply markets to choose from. I went to the cheaper one. One of my chores was sewing my new pants. The thread work wasn't as good as my first pair. I made arrangements to meet Magic Hobbit later that night after he settled in. I ate dinner at the Commonwealth and had a couple of beers at the Drew Brew next door. I extended my stay an extra day so I could stay close to a restroom. The bonus was the weather would be better after a day of rest. I saw Magic Hobbit again the next day as he was drying his gear off in the inn's parking lot. I just used the shower curtains in my room. He wasn't taking a zero, so he went back to being a day ahead of me again. Snake count, 10. I saw this garter snake on the first day of the section. Trail stop checklist, Snoqualmie Pass, check.